We have some major trade buzz to get into from Ian Rapoport and NFL Network because the New Orleans Saints need to consider having a fire sale. You're sitting at 1-7. It is not looking very bright in terms of the immediate future, and there are a clear list, a laundry list of roster needs for the New Orleans Saints. Ian Rapoport has a lot to say, and the Saints need to make a lot of moves before the trade deadline, which is in less than 36 hours. But will they do it? You're watching Saints Now by Chat Sports. We're going to discuss this because the New Orleans Saints, like I said, have to make some trades. You really don't have any choice. In the future, you don't have much draft capital. You cannot walk into the 2026 NFL draft with only 5 picks. That's just simply not going to get it done. In 2027, you're going to need more picks as well, especially considering you don't have that 4th-round selection. You are going to need to fill spots across the entire roster, so that is why you need to make some moves. We're going to discuss this. We're going to discuss the reports. And, guys, I need to encourage you to subscribe to the channel and lock us in. We are going live for trade deadline coverage tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Time. Turn on your notifications because if we have any moves happen, we'll be going live a little bit earlier. So lock us in. Subscribe today. Don't miss a thing because if anything happens across the league, we'll let you know. And if it impacts the Saints, we'll let you know how it happens. And, of course, we'll keep you informed on any moves the Black and Gold make. Now, let's dive into what Ian Rapoport had to say. Over the weekend, he put out an article with some new trade buzz and with what could happen. Again, the trade deadline is on November 4th, which is tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. So there's a lot of moves that could happen and a handful of players that are getting some interest in New Orleans. Now let's throw what Ian Rapoport had to say. While it's Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, and Rashid Shaheed for New Orleans, he was discussing how the Jets are going to make some moves. The Saints are potentially going to make some moves. All would require a high price, perhaps too high for what acquiring teams would want to pay. An offer a teams can't refuse would likely be necessary. That's an interesting note here. The asking price might be too high. With Saints GM Mickey Loomis nor Jets GM Darren Mogi, I don't know. I'm not a Jets fan. I don't really care that much. Conducting anything close to a fire sale, more likely it'll be closer to players such as Michael Carter and Devon Godshaw who could be traded. Rapoport discussing the players that have been getting trade interest and the players that actually could be dealt. So it looks like no fire sale in New Orleans despite that needing to be what needs to happen. And what we know in terms of the top players that are getting trade interest. According to Ian Rapoport, those are the 3 names that have been getting the most calls. And here's what we know about those 3 players. The Saints are working on an extension. They do not want to trade Chris Olave. We know that they don't have to trade him right now. They don't have to extend him right now. They picked up his 5th-year option, so there isn't any urgency in terms of making a decision on Chris Olave. You have time to do that. So I don't think that he is going to end up getting dealt. But again, offer that you can't refuse comes across your lap. You got to consider it. Now, Alvin Kamara said that he'd rather be sipping pina coladas than be traded and play elsewhere, so I don't think he is going to end up getting moved. And Rashid Shaheed, we do know that he could be dealt for the right price. What is that price? Well, the reports and the sources are saying that it's a 3rd-round pick. The New Orleans Saints want to get a 3rd-round pick for Rashid Shaheed, which personally, if you get a 3rd-round pick for this player, I am the biggest Rashid Shaheed fan amongst all Saints fans. Hard to say no. I'm going to be totally honest. Hard to say no. But I don't think you're going to be getting that. I mean, look at the trade that happened earlier this morning, bright and early, 6:30 in the morning. Eagles traded for edge rusher Jalen Phillips for a 2026 3rd-round pick. And look, they're different positions. There's different needs, different teams, different situations, whatever. Long story short, the New Orleans Saints are not going to be getting a 3rd-round pick for Rashid Shaheed. If that's the asking price for Jalen Phillips, who is a premier edge rusher when he's healthy, he's very, very talented. He is a great player. I'm not saying Rashid Shaheed isn't, but Jalen Phillips went for a 3rd. The Saints are going to need to lower the asking price for Rashid Shaheed if they want to deal him. So what do you want in return for Rashid Shaheed? I still want a 3rd-round pick. That's what I would like to get, if at the bare minimum. But realistically, 4th, 5th, that might be more kind of what's actually going to happen. I'm not totally sure. Be the GM and share your thoughts. Now we're going to get into some more trade buzz around the New Orleans Saints. Again, a lot of changes happening here for the black and gold. But I got a question for you. Do you want to live better longer? I know the answer is yes. So you guys should check out today's presenting sponsor, and that is Bubs Naturals. I'm super excited to tell y'all about this sponsor. If you click the link in the comments and description of this video, or you use code CHAT at checkout, you'll get 20% off your order at bubsnaturals.com. Whether you like it or not, you are getting older. Stiff joints in the morning. Recovery at the gym is taking longer. Your hair is thinning. Your nails are breaking. Your skin might be even losing that smooth glow. Aging sucks, but it doesn't have to. And starting in your mid-20s, I don't know if you know this, your collagen production starts to naturally decline in your body. And that's where Bubs Naturals collagen peptides come in. Bubs helps restore collagen levels closer to what your body naturally had in its youth, so your joints feel stronger, your hair and nails grow healthier, and your skin looks smoother. No junk, zero sugars, sweeteners, or fillers. I absolutely love Bubs Naturals. I have been using this product for some time now. I feel so much better. I've been going to the gym. The recovery, it's been so much easier since I've been taking Bubs Naturals. It really, really helps me out, and I know that you'll love it too. If you want to take care of yourself, it's never too late to start taking care of your body. I'm only 26 years old. I'll be 27 here in a few months. Wow, actually, I'll be 27 in a month. That's crazy to say. But it's a good thing that I got Bubs Naturals to make me feel like I'm still a young 21, 22-year-old whippersnapper, if you will. So I'm really excited to keep using Bubs Naturals, and they are going to be a part of my daily routine, and they should be a part of your daily routine as well. If you click the link in the comments or description of this video, or you just head over to bubsnaturals.com and use code CHAT. You'll get 20% off your order. Live better longer with Bubs Naturals. Make sure you click the link in the comments or description of this video, or use that code CHAT at bubsnaturals.com, and you're all set. After your purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Now, like I said, the New Orleans Saints need to make trades. Going back to the draft capital you have in the future, not a lot. You have 5 picks next year. You have way more than 5 needs. Friendly reminder, you will get to address some of this in free agency, which I think the Saints should, especially on the O-line. However, thanks for trading a 4th for Devon Vele and a 7th for, a 4th and a 7th for Devon Vele. We're not even using him. 7th round pick for Devon Godshaw. Underwhelming. It's a good thing we traded for Jalen Polk, right? Like, it's a good thing that we have all these players. Oh, but don't worry, guys. In the future, we have 3 7th-round picks, so we're good. Don't worry. Life's good. It's quite frankly a joke. The Saints have to make moves. And, look, there's a handful of players that I think are going to be untouchable, although I don't think anyone should really be untouchable. There's a handful of players I think that should be on the block, and here are 8 names that I think could be dealt. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks. Obviously, the wide receiver position is one that needs to be better, and obviously the Saints are not getting the maximum production out of the wide receiver position, so I could see one of those guys being dealt to try to recoup some good draft capital in return. Wide receivers typically get decent return if they're a good player. Cesar Ruiz has been mentioned in some trade buzz. Would not mind trading him whatsoever. He did come off the field yesterday with a slight injury. If I remember correctly, kind of going to be honest, I blocked out the entire back half of that game. I believe he returned 2-game action, so he should be okay. Pete Werner, linebacker, I think he's somebody that definitely needs to be moved. Carl Granderson, he's somebody that could be traded to an edge rusher needy team. Alante Taylor has been some trade buzz, and Ian Rapoport mentioned Devon Godshaw, so I'll throw him in this list as well. But it's time to upgrade across the board. The New Orleans Saints need to get better. And one position that particularly comes to mind, and it's blatantly obvious that the upgrade is just on the roster, Danny Stutzman and Pete Werner. Please trade Pete Werner. It didn't work out. That's okay. Trade him away. Give him an opportunity to go succeed elsewhere. He's still young. He still has an opportunity to grow and develop into a really nice linebacker, but I just don't think that he's a part of the equation in New Orleans. Stutzman, fun fact, has been more productive than Pete Werner over the last 4 weeks with less snaps. If you don't believe me, look at your screen right now. In week 6, Danny Stutzman only 6 sacks, 3 tackles. Pete Werner, 38. Had 2 more tackles. Awesome. In week 7, 16 snaps for Stutzman. He had more tackles than Pete Werner, who had 36 snaps. Ridiculous. In week 8, 8 snaps compared to 24. Only 1 tackle compared to 4. Whatever. 23 snaps, 8 tackles. 38 snaps, 2 tackles. Against the Rams. What in the fuck are we doing? Why is Danny Stutzman only playing a limited amount of snaps on the field? That is Coaching malpractice. Kellen Moore, make the fucking decision and put Danny Stutzman on the field. If Brandon Staley won't do it, get his ass on the field. Because Pete Werner is doing nothing but costing us money and giving up plays. At least Danny Stutzman, when he gets out there, he's on the field and he's producing. And he's near the football and he's making plays. And I'm not saying Pete Werner hasn't. But Danny Stutzman is more productive with less run. Imagine if you give him 30 or 40 snaps. Give him 20 snaps. You got 8 tackles. Danny Stutzman got you 8 tackles with 23 snaps against the Rams. Pete Werner got you 38 snaps and 2. It's an easy decision. Oh, and by the way, speaking of snap count, we talked about Devon Vele not getting any run. We traded a 4th and a 7th round for him. Why is he only playing 29% of snaps on offense? I'll wait for an answer because I don't think we're going to get one. Only had 12 snaps against the Rams. Brandon Cooks had 23 snaps this past week. He played 56% of the offensive snaps. You didn't get a lot of offense, by the way. You ran a very limited amount of snaps and a very limited amount of plays. You didn't have the ball very long. I mean, it was like 16 minutes and 7 seconds. Why did we trade a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick to only play him 29% of snaps? That's dumb. So I go back to the wide receiver trade question. I feel like you kind of have to force Devon Vele on the field. Like Mickey Loomis, take control here and trade one of the receivers, so you have to put Devon Vele on the field. Like at this point, why wouldn't you? And look, New Orleans needs to be honest with themselves. They're in a position that they don't get to really play a lot of games. You kind of have to be smart here. And your back's against the wall with the trade deadline. You've made multiple trades acquiring players leading up to this point. For what? A 1-win record over the Giants? And it's been shitty ever since then? The Saints need to be honest. Take a look in the mirror. Have a true evaluation of where you're at. And be real. This is still Dennis Allen and Sean Payton's roster. You got to get Kellen Moore's guys in here. If you don't get him in here, you don't really get a true and honest assessment of Kellen Moore. And I'm going to be honest, I'm a believer in Kellen Moore, but it hasn't been good. This week was not good. Last week wasn't good. It's been a bad stretch for quite some time. And it's tough because you do have to consider some things. One, money. You have to consider the cap space and you have to consider the contracts. You can't just trade away every single player you want because the team's bad and you hate the players. First of all, teams have to be interested in them. Second of all, some of these contracts are set up in a way that it makes it very difficult to trade them without eating a lot of money. Juwan Johnson is a prime example of that. You can't just trade everyone away. Just because you're pissed off and you're mad, trust me, I want to trade away players. I want to get draft capital too. But you still need to develop this roster. You still need to have some of these veterans around to help build the culture and to help pour into the youth. And I understand that this team is bad, and I understand that it's frustrating. But you're kind of in a tough spot. You're between a rock and a hard place. You need to make some trades. You got to trade away some of your assets. But if you trade away some of these assets, you're going to hurt the development of the quarterback. You're going to hurt the evolving of Kellen Moore's offense. You're going to hurt some of these other players and not get some of these guys on the field if you keep them. So it's like a really, really tough situation. You got to make moves, though. That's just, quite frankly, you have to. You only have 5 picks. You don't have an opportunity not to. Now, name the players, I should say, that you think the Saints should trade. Give me the full list. I had 8 names. Real quick reminder. Olave, Shaheed, Cooks, Cesar Ruiz, Werner, Grando, Alante, Devon Godshaw. DeMario's been in the mix. Alvin Kamara has been in the mix. Isaac Yiadom maybe. I don't know. The Saints need to make a lot of moves, though. So give me your list of players that you would deal. Appreciate you guys for rocking and rolling with us here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. If there are any moves that happen, we have you covered. So make sure you subscribe, turn on your notification. The trade deadline, less than 36 hours away, and we are going to be giving you guys all of the information you need to know. So lock us in, subscribe today. We'll be live tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Y'all stay golden.